And tonight's WGN investigates a beloved Chicago vet is in a fight to find affordability. The 89-year-old wants changes in the way people get help to pay for housing. His rent has gone up by nearly 20%.
WGN's Lourdes Duarte introduces you to the Korean War vet who hopes his story will change the rules.
This all started when Hispanic Housing Development Corporation, which operates the building he lives in, raised the market value of his unit by $800 each month due to inflation and higher costs. Not long after that, the Chicago Housing Authority recalculated the Korean War veterans' rental payment to reflect what's known as a 30% rule. It's a rule that goes back 4 decades and is used by government housing agencies across the country.
Calle a nombre mío.
At 89, Tomás Lozada, ¿y cuál es usted en esta foto? Has overcome a lot of odds.
1951, I was wounded in Korea by a hand grenade.
His bravery eventually won him a Purple Heart.
I'm proud, very proud.
And countless tributes, including the building he calls home, named after the Puerto Rican 65th Infantry Borinqueniers. Lozada fought with that unit in the military. He's the only Korean veteran from that unit still living there.
They love him, they see him as a legend, he is seen as a legend, and literally everyone in Humboldt Park knows my grandfather.
Thank you for that honor.
But somehow, the man who shines a light on the forgotten war fears he may have been forgotten himself.
All the medal that they gave me from Korea.
His story of beating the odds is now about dollars and cents. Over the last few months, the Chicago Housing Authority recalculated what he and his wife pay for a third-floor Humboldt Park rental unit. Under a Section 8 CHA voucher, the rule is you pay up to 30% of your income. He was paying less than that before. His $764 out-of-pocket rent payment jumped to $936 each month.
On a fixed income, that's very difficult.
His granddaughter has gone back and forth with the CHA, only to find it's following the 30% rule, which is standard. The Lozados showed us their monthly income of $3,000. After paying rent, they have a little over $2,000 left to cover everything else for 2 people.
Food, rent, and clothes for both of us, and medicine. I don't receive too much money.
With his wife in hospice care and expensive medicines, the remaining $2,000 he has to live on don't get him very far, he says.
He is emblematic of what's happening to every low-income Chicagoan. This has been happening in the city for at least the last 15, 20 years.
What do we want? Rent control!
It's been an issue for years that has only intensified with inflation. Protests throughout the city have called for more adequate, affordable housing. That's one part of the issue. The other part is what this Korean War vet is dealing with today. Even while living in affordable housing, he can't make ends meet.
Is he going to get help? What kind of help is he going to get?
Don Washington leads the Chicago Housing Initiative. He says it may be time the 30% rule established in 1981, 40 years ago, to measure how much a person pays for government housing change. And others agree.
It's consistent with the research that we've done.
Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Studies has published papers like this one on affordability in major metropolitan areas.
We had a recent report, the American Rental Housing Report that we did, found that low-income households had on average about $500 a month to spend on everything else after paying for their housing, and that is not enough.
15% is what it would have to be set at in order for most low-income people to stay in the city. There are a couple of pushes to do that.
But the push is not enough for people like Lozada, who can't even afford to live in the place named in his honor.
That's my problem. I have to move out of here. And where do I have to go?
He didn't understand how they didn't understand the significance of him being here and how powerful that is, not only from a Puerto Rican standpoint, but also from a military standpoint.
WGN reached out to the Chicago Housing Authority. In a statement, the agency said CHA provides financial services and counseling for households and works directly with residents to ensure that they are receiving all benefits they are entitled to.
I won't be able to pay that much money. I won't be able.
Until something changes, Lozada is doing his best. he's used to battle, this time fighting to find affordability.
Bye.
And as you saw in the story, his granddaughter has been fighting to get his rental payment lowered. She finally got the CHA to drop the increase by $18 each month. At this point, they're not sure if that will be enough. One move that may help is a potential 9% increase in payments to retirees by Social Security, but that's not expected to happen until 2023. I'm Lourdes Duarte, WGN Investigates.